On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, the Martini-Henry returns, Freeze hates line-throwing cannons, anti-gunner accidentally breaks NFA laws, and a phantom pooper has been arrested in Connecticut. Good morning, everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 87 of the John1911 Podcast. How's it going, Freeze?
Pretty good.
This is getting to be almost late morning for you. It's like 9:40. You're still up.
Yeah, it's been a long night. Yeah,
so I guess you had some stuff to do, so you were going to be up, and you were like, "Hey, let's do a quick one." I'm like, "Awesome, We're trying to, get a couple more, like maybe do 2 podcasts a week. We've talked about that. We have a lot of people that would like more content. So,
yeah, we have enough, people asking for it. So, we might as well.
Yeah. All right. So. Silence my phone here. Someone's trying to call me. Sorry, we're live now. I can't talk. I guess. Do you want to? Considering I did a podcast rant yesterday on this, I guess we should address it. I mean, at least quickly, because you and I haven't really had a chance to talk about the Franklin Armory, I guess.
Yeah,
stuff.
I listened to your podcast rant last night, and the only thing I want to interject is at one point you were talking about basically building your own, and you almost...
I didn't specify hogged out barrel, did I?
No, you didn't. And that's what I wanted to bring up, because no, you can't build your own Franklin Arsenal straight lined, well, it's not rifling, the straight line, whatever they're calling it in their barrel. But what you were referring to in that is building your own firearm, quote unquote firearm, but basically having zero rifling, basically a smooth bore barrel. And you didn't specify that in there.
Yeah, I was driving and talking, and I guess it's one of those things where in my defense, we will have to assume that the average listener of the John1911 podcast is a sophisticated gun owner. So
yeah, but what'll happen?
I got out of that one real fucking quick, didn't I?
Yeah, but what'll happen is someone will go in there and go, "Well, you can't do that," because someone's always got to be offended.
Yeah, whatever. You know what? I'm not going to say it. So for people that don't know what the hell we're talking about, we covered SHOT Show, we didn't go to it. We don't go to SHOT Show anymore, and talked about some of the highlights. And honestly, this Franklin Armory thing came up. I didn't even really know what it was. You knew more about it than I did, and it was just like, well, how is this really a defendable intellectual property? What's going to keep somebody from everybody from making these? And so Franklin Armory heard the podcast, and we don't need to do a blow by blow, but basically they were not happy with how we represented their intellectual property. They are wanting to say that it's IP and they secured it, and the truth is they're claiming it's IP. They have a patent pending that hasn't been issued yet, and there's some question as to whether that's legit or not. But I guess the thing I wanted to say, there's nothing to keep, say, Faxon Firearms, or all of a sudden to just start selling unrifled barrels. onto the open market.
Yeah.
Actually, it should save them a step.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it would, in theory, it would be cheaper. And then you could go out as, and get a lower that's not a rifle yet. It's, it's a firearm, not a gun or not a rifle or a pistol.
Yes.
And just put on a smooth bore barrel and, 12 inches long or 10 inches long or 8 inches long. And you have a quote, for all practical purposes, a Franklin Armory Reformation gun. Especially at the MOAs that people are reporting were happening at SHOT Show.
Yeah, I mean, look, honestly, and this goes back to what we were talking about maybe yesterday. Again, at the end of the day, all that's well and good, but why not just build a pistol with a brace? I mean,
well, you know what? Build a pistol with a brace, and then just send in your $200 tax stamp at some point. You still get to shoot it as a pistol, and it's the argument against SBRing a lot of guns in the past was you had to take a gun, an existing gun or parts of a gun, and basically chop them up, and that was a huge pain in the dick. Now you just buy pistol complete uppers. You can still run them as pistols, and all you have to do is get your tax stamp, and you're SBR'd now. And it's not like now I got to go in and cut the barrel and do the gas and the port pressure and the timing and the buffer spring and XYZ 1, 2, 3 and all this drama. It's I mean, look, I think the Franklin Armory Reformation is a really good idea. I think that's an example of somebody sitting down, being really smart, and finding the white space between the lines, because it's an artificial construct by the U.S. government, and possibly getting a niche. That's what got us the SIG brace.
Yeah,
that created
exactly.
All these quote pistols. I don't know. I think the Franklin Armory is neat. I guess the real question is, nobody seems to be able to have an answer. We were hearing, we were not at SHOT Show. We were not at Media Day. We were not at Range Day. We've never actually put hands on a Franklin Armory Reformation gun, firearm. And we're hearing multiple reports that the target they set up on Range Day was 50 yards, which I thought was that was odd. And people were reporting they were getting a 4 MOA group at 50 yards, and the bullets were tumbling with the factory ammo. Which,
that's a problem.
Well, it's kind of unwritten in the entire argument for this Franklin Armory gun that they've got this straight line rifling so they can shoot these shuttlecock custom bullets. And it's unwritten, but it's intimated that straight line proprietary rifling, the IP that they kind of called us out on, maybe misrepresenting or mischaracterizing its status, might help factory ammo shoot a little bit better. But an 8 MOA group at 100 yards at factory ammo
is not good.
I question, that's basically, that begs the question, should we put together a, quote, firearm, call Faxon, say, give me a gutter pipe barrel at, 11 inches, and let's shoot it at 100 yards and see what kind of MOA we get.
Yeah, I mean, if we can basically have a pipe and run, wolf ammo at 100 yards and get, we might put it together, run it, and miss the target altogether.
Yeah.
But if you can do better than 8 MOA at 100 yards,
yeah, and
That's the question.
And you know what? There are guys out there, little mom and pop AR shops, that are always looking for the white space as well to make a few bucks. And there has to be a guy out there right now who's putting together one of these guns with just a gutter pipe barrel just to see what he can produce. And he doesn't have to. If he can beat the Franklin Armory MOA numbers, and he doesn't have to sell it for $2,000, he can sell it for the price of a AR pistol. He's solid gold, dude. I mean, the market has the potential to really crack down on this.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. Again, I'm not down on the Franklin Armory. I think it's super neat.
I like the concept. And when we addressed this in our original podcast, I guess this was, 2 or 3 podcasts ago. Again, I brought up the fact that, if they take cans off the NFA list and you don't have to file a tax stamp for it, to get a suppressor, it's kind of a novel idea to, grab one of these in 300 blackout, where, I got a SBR. Well, I'm sorry, it's not an SBR. I guess an SBF, short barreled firearm.
The phrase is coined here. That's going to make the pop. There we go. SBF. You said it first. Short barrel firearm.
Yeah. So now you got a short barreled firearm and you've got a suppressor and you don't have to deal with any type of NFA paperwork. And you know what? You got a room clearing machine, and I think that's a novel idea.
I think it's really interesting.
But again, I can't really justify spending this kind of money, because I think even like the low end ones they have are like, I don't know, like $1,000, $1,100 or something like that. I saw a price list a week or so ago, and I can't even justify spending $1,000 on something that's going to shoot 8 MOA. I can't do it. I mean, I just can't do it.
Yeah, it's a toughie, dude. It's a toughie. Hey, I've got speaking of something that'll shoot 8 MOA or better, I don't know if I sent this to you in email, and I thought about it for the range. There's an auction house that is relatively close, and they are selling a line-throwing cannon. A
line-throwing cannon.
So it's a cannon that's got a big old spear on it, and you tie a rope to it, and it'll throw a line from ship to ship or something.
Okay, yeah, I've seen similar apparatuses that you can put on rifles. Well,
so okay, do you see the picture I just sent you? I'll have to put this on the. I'll have to put this on the blog page in the comment section. But so it sits on a carriage. It's got 4 wheels. It looks fairly old or oldish to me. I don't know. One of the wheels looks like it's new, maybe it came off of a bit. I don't know. That's not a big, a tricycle. I don't know what they did. So 2.5 inch wide bore, barrel length 29 inches.
Okay.
Weight length. Oh, the weight, the spear. They call that the weight length. The weight is 28 inches. Brass barrel with steel carriage and rubber wheels.
Okay.
Barrel marked DCG /730. Let's see here. It's called the model B8471. Line throwing gun, Heat Transfer Products Incorporated, West Street, New York. Here's the thing. The starting price, no one's going to buy this, dude.
Okay, first off, what's the propellant?
I imagine you just, because it looks like it's got a fuse on it, like a fuse hole or flash hole or something.
Or is that a cocking lever?
Oh, damn. No, you know what that is? That's an eye bolt. They've got screwed through it, probably to keep it closed.
Okay.
So
it'd be maybe like a black powder cannon?
Possibly. So anyway, if their projected sale price of this, it's starting at $150, and they're thinking hopefully maybe it'll go for between $300 and $500.
Oh, quit it!
I know nobody's going to goddamn buy this thing and have it shipped. So as long as it's not that far from us, here's the thing: I was looking at this, and we were talking about there's a giant tree on the new range, the new rifle range, the long distance range. That is scary big because we think it's dead. I mean, we're pretty certain it's dead, but it's winter, but there's maybe a chance it's not. And this thing the base of this tree, just radius. I mean, it's 3 feet wide. This tree is a monster tree.
Yeah.
So, and it's so tall, you don't even getting under it to try to cut it down. The stuff could fall on you and smash your head in.
I say we just take 50 pounds of tannerite and blow it up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I don't know. I was just debating. I was like, do we take dude, I'll be honest with you. We have about 60 pounds of tannerite.
Now, you know what? This thing is stupid. It's not going to work.
No. Here's the thing. You throw the line over the tree, because the top parts of the tree, if it's as dead as we think it is, because I've pulled big branches off the bottom of it, it just snaps off. They're huge. Well, if I can get a rope up top of it, I could start pulling down the large parts of the tree to make it safer to bring this thing down.
Or we could just get a couple guys we know that cut down trees all year long and just have them do it for us.
Do you think, I guess I'll say his first name. Do you think Jim would do it?
Yeah, hell yeah, he would.
Because, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. This tree is dangerous as fuck.
Well, and more importantly, he's got the big saws.
He's got the big saws, but it's just oh.
Yeah, no, he's experienced in this stuff, so yeah.
Because this tree is so big, I don't think the tannerite will bring the tree down.
Maybe not. I don't know. 60 pounds of tannerite will do a lot of damage.
So, all right. So we're not buying a cannon. That's what you're telling me? You don't want to buy the line-throwing cannon?
We're not buying the line-throwing cannon.
Oh, goddamn.
It's dumb. If we're buying a cannon, we're buying a real cannon.
How could a cannon be dumb? Well, here's the thing. Is this an NFA item?
Well, if it's black powder, it's not.
Okay. So anyway, we'll have some pictures of it up on the
if it takes a 20 millimeter blank shell, then probably.
Yeah, but it's it's at what point does something become so cheap you're like, okay, I got to buy that.
This isn't at that point.
If it's $150 and we can take the trailer right down and go get it, we don't even have to drive more than, it's lunch.
No.
God damn it! No. All right.
No.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Fine. We're not getting a damn cannon. Screw you and the cannon you wrote in on. I'm so upset. So, all right. I guess we should talk about this. We got the because we're going to do this one kind of quick. The Martini-Henry is back from the 07.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
So, I don't think we've ever actually shown this on video or pictures, have we?
No, I don't even think we've shown pictures of it. This is it's to our listeners, it's a new item. To us, we've had it for, 2 years maybe?
Possibly 2 years. I mean, the 07 has had it for 3 months.
Yeah.
Seriously, he's had it for almost 3 months. He had it, before Christmas.
Yeah.
So what this is it's a Martini-Henry. It's an 18 what, 97, 1893.
Yeah, it's technically, well, it was technically an antique. It's not now because it's been modern. It's been sporterized. Yeah. So now it's an actual legitimate firearm. The antique, like CNR, it's not even, well, it wasn't even CNR. It was antique. But since it's been sporterized, it now falls into the normal firearms category.
With no serial number on it. So they all do it. Whenever they fill out, it's all, it's supposed to say no NS. What do they call it? NS, no serial, no NSN. I guess they call it, no serial number. This came out of like Montana or Wyoming. It's a Martini-Henry action from the turn of the last century, and these good old boy hunter guys in that part of the world converted this thing to 4570, and it's got, I mean, for the age, it was probably done in the 50s.
This was an old conversion,
and it's got kind of gorgeous wood on it, and it's they parkerized it, they put iron sights on it, they put a pistol grip in the stock, not like a, if you're not like an AR,
it's kind of more of like a Monte Carlo type stock with a pistol grip,
So we bought this gun, remotely from this old guy who didn't even want to, he wanted to sell it as, like CNR only kind of deal, and it's like, dude, we're not just send it to the FFL. Just do it the way we tell you to do it. And we got this gun, and while it was gorgeous, I mean, it even has like a leather sling with it. It had some problems. We were questioning whether the headspace was good, and we were questioning whether the action was completely closing, because when they sporterized it didn't have a lock on the lever, so you had to hold the lever closed.
On the Martini-Henry, for those that aren't familiar with them, the lever the lever that releases the falling block is basically the trigger guard. It's it's all incorporated in there, and basically you drop the lever down, kind of like a lever action rifle, except it's a single shot. But when they sporterized this, there's like no latch on it, and it was real floppy and loose, and it was like, yeah, man, this. We need to basically have this thing gone over, because honestly, it really wasn't safe to shoot.
Yeah, we were not confident. We didn't want to dick with it. We had so much going on. Ranges. We got some other stuff going on with some property deals and building up some other stuff.
Well, at the time when we bought the rifle, I mean, this was way back, and we were transitioning. We just had so much stuff on the table. It was like, you know what? It's kind of a neat rifle. It's got problems. It needs to be looked at, and it got shelved and pretty much forgot about. I mean, not really forgot about, but it was just kind of like, it's on the shelf, it's there, but we've got so much other stuff we were converting, we just didn't have time for it.
Yeah. So we got to the 07. We don't really know that. He doesn't really know who we are. I mean, he doesn't, like, I haven't revealed ourselves to him. He knows we're interesting, and he smells money, and he knows there's a lot of guns, but he does, we're still getting to know each other. So there's been a couple other projects that went in for him to look at, and a couple other projects for him to look at, and it went well. So I brought this gun in, and I was asking him if he can handle a Martini-Henry, and he's like, yeah, sure. Well, he gets this gun in, and it's so customized. He literally is like, it's not it's a Martini, but it's not really a Martini. Like, the action's been worked on all the parts. So he went to open it up and check the headspace, and he's like, the headspace was off like 400 thousandths or 4 thousandths or 4, whatever he said. 400 or whatever he said. And, you know, he's like, well, I could start, you know, I could maybe replace this part. And he started realizing everything has been kind of reworked. He says, if I change 1 or 2 parts in this whole thing, he says, you're going to have to replace all the parts.
Yeah, because everything was basically hand fitted.
Yeah, you know, and then, you know, they also redid it to shoot this 45-70. So he's like, son of a bitch. So, you know, and then he's like doing research. He's like, why is this lever dropping open like this? And he's, you know, it's one thing to work on Martini-Henry. It's just another thing he had to basically figure out what was the thought process when the guys did this, say, in the 50s. And, so according to him, he was shocked. He said a lot of them, when they did these guns, they actually intentionally made it so that the levers would drop open on these conversions. He said that seems to have been intentional. And so, you know, I was like, that's not going to goddamn work, because there's just issues with it. So anyway, so he was like, all right. So he attacked it from the other side. So because the lever, you just have to see it. It's hard to do this. I'll have to do an Armory chat. But the lever lays up against the pistol grip. And what he ended up doing is up near where the lever meets the action, he ended up shaving a bunch of metal off that you really can't see from the outside of the gun. It was able to make the lever close up a lot higher. So it solved the unlocking issue, and it also gave the thousandths he needed on the headspace.
Yeah, so, which really, it was like 2 birds with 1 stone, and it worked out really well.
So, you know, he had to do a lot of time kind of learning this gun and figuring some stuff out, and he really did us a solid, because I expected this gun, the repair on this gun, to make it safe, to be as much as we paid for the gun. And that's part of the reason why it sat too, because it's like, oh God, I'm going to so hole in this gun.
When you sent me that invoice, it was like, this can't be right.
I know. And you were like, is it fixed for that? I'm like, he says it is.
It's like, holy crap.
I mean, you know, yeah, it was well under $300. And it's just like, wow, okay. That's good. So, so, you know, a couple more tricks like this. He's going to go from being the 07 to the 007. He's going to be like,
he's the man.
It was pretty good. So, we'll do a thing on it. Actually, we've got a high angle target in from the company in Florida, the test, because, you know, for the close range steel, and it actually wouldn't be a bad idea, because I'll shoot it with like a high velocity 223, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to throw a 45-70, like a big hunk of lead, at, you know, a low velocity, to see how it throws the lead, because I could even watch it better. Test the angles.
Well, we got some 405 grain lead slugs we can send down range.
Yeah, we've got, So, I mean, just some, I might end up, you know, bringing out this gun, and I just had a thought. There's still part of me, it's like, I don't know if I want to shoot this gun by myself. You know, just in case, you know, like end up blowing up on me and I have to, you know, try to, you know, bandage myself up. So,
I'll let you get in a prone position, and I'll stand next to you with some quick clot.
Yeah, well, you're not, I mean, you can't do it this week because you're busy working. So,
yeah.
Did you see? This has been making the round. Apparently now it's shown up on CNN. You know, everybody's hooting and hollering about the school shooting things, and you know, everyone wants to talk gun control, but no one wants to talk crazy control. You got to do something. You know, well, there's this guy, and he made this video, and he sounds. I mean, I don't know where this jackass lives. He sounds like he's in Boston, New York. He's in the Northeast somewhere. And he's making a video. He's basically virtue signaling. He's holding a Colt SP1. Have you seen this video?
Oh, God, yeah. I saw that douchebag.
Well, I mean, you know, and he, you know, it's a personal choice, and we got to make a change and whatever, and, you know, my gun's not going to be used in a whatever. And So that he gets up and goes over to a chop saw that's set up behind him on his deck, and he takes his Colt SP1, lays it into this thing. I think it's a chop saw, and brings it down, cuts the, in quote to him, cuts the gun in half. Well, go ahead, tell the rest of the story.
Well, no, I mean, on the video, he did a Facebook Live type video, and he just chopped the barrel in half, basically. But he did post pictures of the gun later where he chopped the receiver. He chopped it in like 4 pieces eventually. But on the video itself, he only chopped the barrel off. And it's like, well, you didn't do shit. New barrel and handguard, and it's back in business,
Yeah,
but he did actually cut it up and cut the receiver, and I mean, there's pictures of the gun chopped up.
Oh, so he got called out on it, and
he got called out on it, and then he basically went back and cut it up to where it's definitely junk at this point, and then posted pictures of it. So
let me give the legal summation of what this guy did. In his attempt on video to virtue signal that he's a better human being than the rest of us, and he runs the chop saw down. I don't know. He's probably 2 or 3 inches from the delta ring on the barrel, and he basically quote cuts the gun in half. What he actually did...
Actually, he made it illegal.
What he actually did on video is he made a illegal, unregistered, unlicensed, unapproved short-barreled rifle.
Yes. Yes, he did.
And he committed a 20-year federal crime on video. And... there's some people like, well, the AR won't run because, the gas tube, it's a single shot short-barreled rifle. Yep. He cut the barrel. The barrel's like freaking 2 or 3 inches long on it now, or 4 inches, if you go back to the chamber. And it's just like, there's some people like, I'm calling the ATF to arrest this guy.
They're not going to do anything.
No, they're not going to do anything. But, it's just another example of, people that jumping in front of the camera to do shit they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and it causes problems.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the? It's not a big story, and our listeners wouldn't really care about it. But it was out of, I think, New York. Some guy, he's crazy, and I know it's like, well, that was a stretch. He's crazy, and there's some neighborhood, I think, in New York, and he. I think I don't know why they say he's an actor, but he climbs up this fire escape, and he gets to the top of it in some building, and then he starts hooting and hollering and claims he's Spiderman, or they call him Spiderman, and, tells the authorities, come and get me. And then they come and they come and they get him, or they coax him down. This apparently happens 2 or 3 or 4 times, I don't know, a year. And he's I don't know, the story's written as like, crazy guy, they brought him down, do whatever. And it's like, talking to the neighbors, yeah, we see him all the time. He does this fairly regularly. And, it's amazing to me, like CNN or these news stations don't connect this guy with those guy that shot up the school in Florida. This is literally the same thing that I was talking about with we don't have crazy control in this country. This guy is bonkers crazy, and he needs to be under, I would call inpatient, the politically correct way for me I've come up with it, inpatient community control. And, he's allowed to walk the streets, and he's like, he climbs up the fire escape. He does it again and again and again. And, ha ha, har har, whatever, until one time he jumps off and lands on somebody and kills him, or he decides next time he goes to the Spider-Man convention and does something crazy and hurts a bunch of people. Then it's, guns, everybody wants to, ban guns, or they're talking in Florida like, we're going to raise the age to buy a rifle to 21, and we're going to put a waiting period in. And it's like, and we're gonna increase the background checks. Okay, well, this guy in Florida was not mentally adjudicated as being nuts. And if he was mentally adjudicated as being nuts, why was he walking around? So if either he was or he wasn't, it wasn't on any of the background paperwork, because we don't mentally adjudicate crazy people. We let them walk free. We dope them and we release them.
Yep.
And that's the problem. It's like, okay, so he can't get a gun for a week. Great. That's awesome. You know,
yep.
He bought these guns last year. You know, it's all bullshit. I mean, this entire conversation, they don't want to talk about any of this shit. You know, it's like, well, we got to make the background checks better. Okay. That's cool. I mean, no one really has that much of a problem with it, but you got to have a crazy system in place to be able to compare for the background checks. We don't document and actually adjudicate these people. You know?
No, I know.
Oh, homeless guy living under a bridge. Is he crazy or is he not? No, he's homeless. Nah, dude, he's fucking crazy. Is there anything that says he's crazy in a computer somewhere? Because right now he's just homeless. He can get a gun. Think who's fucking crazy. Lives under a bridge for 10 years. Almost freezes every winter, but he's homeless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, it's just so retarded. All this stuff. It just, you know, it's just whatever. What? Oh, remember how, you know, we always capped on the 300 blackout? I mean, we don't. I mean, it's not, but, you know, whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the arguments, like, there was a guy, and he approached me, and he had a custom barrel made for a Blaser R8 and 300 blackout. And, you know...
Whoa. Run that by me again?
There was a guy who approached me. He had a custom barrel made for an R8 and 300 blackout for a Blaser.
Why?
Well, okay, so he had it made. A company, I think it's called Young's. It's a custom shop like out west, and you know, it's however long it is, and it's threaded, and you know, whatever. It's so, and he wants to sell it because I guess he spent all this money to have it made and didn't shoot it that much. And he's decided, this is a lot of money I've tied up in the gun. I'm not really shooting that much because 300 blackout's really made for AR, so you can dump 30 rounds into somebody. So anyway, he wants $1,500 for this thing, and it's like,
good luck.
You know, and it's like, you know, it's interesting, and you know, maybe. I mean, it's, you know, you start making the argument, and you're like, well, you know, urban deer hunting, and I could go and buy a box of 300 and put a suppressor on it, and you know, you start making all these rational arguments, and then you come back to reality, and you say to yourself, well, why don't I just shoot Subsonic 308 on the suppressor and just be done with this foolishness?
Exactly.
SHOT Show 2018, Remington? Or is it Winchester? It's
I don't know. If it's Remington, they're not going to be making it long.
Let me check this. It's called the Super Suppressed Ammo, and they're billing it as the ammo's made subsonic, and it's also clean. So what they've done, like, for example, if it's got a lead core, they put, like, the only way I could describe it is like a gas check on the back of it, so the lead isn't exposed to the gas, so it doesn't throw lead particles. Like, it's cleaner for your suppressors, and it's all loaded to subsonic, you know, velocities from the factory. They're making this ammo in 22 Magnum, 9mm, 45, 300 blackout, obviously, and 308.
Nice.
You know, and so, again, it's the argument, if you have a 308 gun and you want to shoot like a bolt gun or any gun that's in 308 and you would like to suppress it, because I like to shoot super quiet once in a while for whatever reason, you can just buy factory 308 subsonic ammo and, you know, get it done.
Yeah, you're in business.
And here's the thing too, like, I don't know what the loadings are. Like, I don't know, how heavy the bullets are. But here's the thing. If you're, you could easily, people are like, well, the 300's a 220 grain or 200, some of the subsonic stuff. You can get 190, 200 grain bullets for, 308. And if you're not shooting it, if you're not loading it to supersonic speeds, you can set that bullet way ass deep in there. In that, you know what I'm saying? So, again, unless you're getting in the gunfights at room clearing distances and you need to be uber suppressed, for me, 300 blackout just is kind of a.
Well, look, it's called real life, and honestly, unless you have a real reason to have 300 blackout, it's just.
The only reason I can ever think that I need a uber suppressed 30 caliber bullet, to be honest with you, is the one time that you and I want to shoot a deer and it's in an area we don't want people to hear us doing it.
Yeah.
So you just shoot the subsonic 308.
Yeah.
That one time, just like that one time you shot the subsonic 300 blackout. That's all. I mean, because 308, you can get it anywhere. And the gun in 308, you can get the cheap Malaysian ammo. You can get the, you got it, all kinds of ammo all over the place. A 300 blackout gun for me is going to sit. 300 blackout to me is like 6.5, 284. That's almost a Wildcat round. For the Armory.
Yeah, again, I just don't see any practical. I can't see any practical application for 300 blackout. I just don't.
And we're covering the same ground again. I just wanted to tell you. Oh, by the way, here's a company because like I had put up something where on the blog and it was like, hey, here's Subsonic 308, and it was a little boutiquey. One of these major companies is making 308 subsonic ammo. It's like, great, okay. See, and that's kind of like where. Maybe like the Reformation is and the 300 blackout. The 300 blackout is an interesting gun because it's artificially designed to fit in an AR-15 Magwell magazine. But once you break out of that and you're open to other guns, and you're away from the 223, you start looking at the numbers. You're like, well, I don't really need to be able to shoot, 30 rounds suppressed as fast as, especially a gun, it's going to limit me on being able to shoot this gun regularly. That's just kind of the issue with 300 blackout. So unless you can pick up 300 blackout NATO, loadings, Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got 308 guns everywhere, so it just was interesting. What the hell was it? There's been another dope positive testing in the Olympics. I like to follow these. Did you hear about
was
this?
That a Russian guy or something?
Yeah, a Russian, and I was like, oh, I wonder who it is. Like, I don't know, the skaters. Like, I'm like, who needs to be like super strong or like, whatever, like, who's going to be roided out. And that's why all the athletes from Russia are not, they're not, athletes from Russia as opposed to, like the Russian Federation, because the Russia's banned for doping. Well, they bust, and it was a curling team. And I'm like, what?
Really? Curlers are doping? What? What? Really?
I was like, what the fuck? And so if anyone don't know, if you've ever seen the sport where you see the people with the brooms and the big teapot, and they're sliding the teapot across the ice, and they're brushing the broom in front of the teapot to make the teapot do stuff. That's curling. And
that is awesome.
So they busted. It's like these goddamn Russians are out. They are so out of goddamn control. So I'm looking at it, and it's like, oh, I'm curious what it is. You expect to see something, test or own in it or something. And the dope they tested positive for is called Melodium. And I'm like,
the hell's Melodium?
What the hell's Melodium? I've never heard of that. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. So I Google it, and it turns out Melodium is, if I understand it, I guess it's a drug really designed for women. And
let's say it's designed for women to make them sleep better. Come on now, that's funny.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, we're gonna get a goddamn letter. That's what I need. Another angry email from some from like, I don't know, Mr. or Mrs. whatever sweeper company. So, I didn't I guess it does make you. I misunderstood it. I don't know if it makes you stronger. I think it maybe gives you more endurance, and maybe it also like makes you calmer. But it does something with like how testosterone is converted or something in your body. Like, so there's something up there. So it's not juicing in the sense of like, bam, sticking you with something and juicing you. It's, I guess, something that maybe enables you to use more of your own juice in your body. I mean, it wasn't really clear, but this dope apparently was invented in the Soviet Union, in the 70s, I guess. And you Google it, and it turns out like on all these, and here's the thing, all these people they listed that have tested positive for this dope, almost every single one of them is either Russian or from a former Soviet republic.
Nice.
And as a matter of fact, you remember, I get them confused. Tall, blonde Russian tennis players.
I have no
Kornikova
clue.
Maybe, or Sharapova. I don't remember which one it is. So I'm not saying either one. But one of those women got in trouble a couple years ago because they tested positive for dope, and lo and behold, it's this product. It's this Melodium or something. So it was just like, that's interesting. I never paid attention to the dope in the Olympics until the one year they were listing all the dopes that, the different things people can take, and I was reading it, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then they listed the sport and what they take and they test for, and they were testing the biathletes for a dope that lowers your heart rate. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I think I already said this on the podcast. So I was like, wow, I just said, when you think of dope in the U.S., you think of like, Sammy Sosa before he bleached his skin, and the first dope, not the second dope. And like just bigger, stronger, faster. But I guess there's different dopes for like, making you chill or, whatever it is, or whatever the goals are, I guess so anyway, that was kind of interesting. I want to keep this one kind of short. So do you have anything else you want to add, or you just want me to go ahead and throw you at a police blotter, to kind of wrap up the day?
I don't really have anything off the top of my head. So yeah, let's go ahead and do a police blotter.
So police blotter out of it came across the desk, and there's a woman. Her mugshot. I'll have to put this up on the thing. Connecticut woman defecated in cul-de-sac 3 times. Police say, and you got to see this woman's face. Her mugshot. She literally, the look on her face is the look that somebody gets when they get caught shitting in public. So apparently this started a couple months ago, and she's pooping in this cul-de-sac, and the neighborhood's finding poop. So they're all.
Yeah, you mean she's like doing this on a regular basis? and people are walking by and going, "Oh, who's shit in the cul-de-sac?"
She has apparently found a cul-de-sac in some neighborhood that she's decided that she doesn't eat there, so she'll shit there. So
wow, okay,
and she keeps coming back. So I guess they found one. They were like, "Wow, that's weird." Then they found another one. They're like, "Oh, hell the fuck no!" So they set up. So again, this is like technology and the modern times we live in. In the past, if someone took was a phantom shitter, you never caught them unless you caught them. Well, they set up cameras. And so they were able to actually capture the make and model of the vehicle of the phantom shitter in this cul-de-sac.
The mad crapper.
And so then I guess the police, this started in November. The police, let's see here. They had stopped her. They had seen the camera, so they had stopped her in the area because they were like, this vehicle matches the pooper vehicle. So they pull this woman over to make contact with her, and I guess they're like, we just got to ask you, are you shitting in the neighborhood? And she apparently was like, yeah, it's me. I'm sorry. I'm lactose intolerant. And so they arrested her. So
no. Oh my, really?
You know what? Let me send you this real quick. I just want you to see. I'm gonna send it to you as a text. I want you to see her, dude. Her mugshot. The look on her face is the look. If you ever get caught taking a dump in somebody's yard, this is the look you're gonna have in your mugshot. So,
oh, man.
Oh, it's terrible. So, really, that's pretty much, that's really going to be pretty much it. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, the phantom shitter. If you want to see the picture of her mugshot, it'll be on the blog page. So, all right. Well, this wraps up episode 87 of the John1911 podcast. If you want to see any notes from this ridiculous podcast, go to the blog page, John1911.com. Special thanks to our sound engineer, Mitch, for helping us not sound like complete idiots. And remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.
See you later.
You're looking at her mugshot, aren't you?
Yeah.
We're out.